stage is landing. Dragon is preparing to separate from the
Hello, everyone.
After the second stage gets into
we
should have a great view of
we are
Dragon
watching
with its
Crew 2
four-person crew
today.
drifting away from the second stage.
On a Falcon
Once
9
Dragon
rocket.
is a short distance away, it will begin checking out its Draco maneuvering thrusters to make sure Dragon continues to increase separation distance from the second stage.
The International
It's
Space
worth
Station.
noting that these are not the Super Draco engines that would be used
of
during the warp scenario.
Or the second
About 40 seconds
operational
after separation,
launch
Dragon's
of a
nose cone
Falcon
deploy
9
sequence
in
will
Dragon.
begin. It will take roughly 4 minutes for the nose cone hooks to unlatch and open, exposing its guidance navigation controls, or what we call GNC.
We're here
that
now.
will help Dragon autonomously fly to the space station.
Oh,
And
the rocket
lastly,
looks
once
like
the nose cone is deployed,
the rocket
the
is
remaining
fueled.
Draco thrusters on the forward bulkhead will be checked. From there, over the next 23 plus hours, Dragon will be in its rendezvous and approach phases, undergoing a number of phasing burns as it makes its way to station. All of that will be coming up soon. For now, let's check back in with Courtney in Mission Control Houston. Courtney.
Thanks, Gary. The space station team here in Houston.
So
is
25
focused, and the
minutes
critical
until
systems on the
launch.
station continue
Hopefully
to function
not a
normally.
Scrub
To
X.
verify the command path.
Sorry if you could hear it through my
Around
thing,
through our
my
constellation of
monitor,
communication satellites
TV,
to the
whatever.
station.
Yeah.
Everything is nominal, and the station will be ready to receive
Here.
Dragon tomorrow.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Once the crew arrives at the station, they'll join
I'm
Expedition
gonna
65.
hold on for
While
a
on board,
second.
their official designation will be
And-
flight engineers, except for JAXA's Aki Hoshide, who will take command.
Hold on. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good day here in, yeah, cool.
Space station.
Our
Here we are back.
Inside the Crew
Hold
Dragon
on.
Endeavour on top. There's an
Let me
inside
just get
view. We can
this.
see them live
Alright.
as the Falcon 9 rocket fueling operation is well underway now.
So,
The launch escape system is
we should
armed,
be
and
here,
that means the Crew Dragon is prepared to launch
23
itself away
minutes
from the Falcon 9 rocket
before
in case
launch.
of an emergency on the pad
So, yeah, cool.
or after liftoff. So far, operations look and sound as expected, and we are counting down to liftoff at 5:49 Eastern Time.
This mission is the continuation of rotational crew flights to the International Space Station from U.S. soil on private rockets and spacecraft. This wouldn't have been possible without the success of the NASA SpaceX Demo 2 test flight last year and the safe delivery of the Crew 1 astronauts to the space station last fall for a long-duration mission. Those Crew 1 astronauts are preparing to return to Earth shortly after Crew 2 arrives at station.
We are
This will be the
here.
first time we'll see two Crew Dragons dock to the space station at the same time.
Yeah.
Crew
first-
1's Resilience
yeah.
and Crew 2's Endeavor that's on the launch pad right now.
With the arrival of the Crew 2 team, I believe that'll bring the head count on station to 11 people. And as much as I love camping, that does sound like it would be a little crowded up there.
Yeah, you counted 11 people on board the station, 9 of them in the U.S. segment. We've got 4 crew quarters, which are basically crew bedrooms. We've got both commanders of the Dragons sleeping in their vehicles. That leaves 3 people needing a place to sleep. That's Suichi, Shannon, and Victor. They'll be in the gym, the Columbus, and the airlock, respectively. So you could say it's quite a full house. They'll be camping out, rolling out their sleeping bags on rack fronts. So it'll be tight.
What a great benefit to being commander. You have your own private suite
with windows. Yeah, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah, and that's honestly the window shots that we have been receiving from the crew have been one of my favorite things from the Crew 1 team up there, and even Bob and Doug whenever they were up there as well. Just the view outside of the Crew Dragon window. It's actually my phone background right now, and it's just incredible. And I love that we get to that they share their perspective with us from above.
Let's give you a quick recap of who the astronauts are sitting inside the capsule here. In the foreground, sitting closest to the front of your screen,
11
is Commander
people on the
Shane Kimbrough. He is commanding the Crew Dragon Endeavour today, and he is a native of Texas, making his 3rd trip to space. The retired U.S. Army colonel first launched aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour on STS-126, then aboard a Russian Soyuz spacecraft for expeditions 49 and 50. Kimbrough has spent a total of 189
minutes
days in
until
space
launch.
and performed 6
Yeah.
spacewalks.
It's
Pilot
5 in
Megan
the
MacArthur
morning.
will be making her 2nd trip to
Yeah.
space, but her first to the space station. She was born in Honolulu, but considers California her home state. MacArthur served as a mission specialist aboard Space Shuttle Atlantis on STS-125, the final servicing mission of the Hubble Space Telescope. She operated the shuttle's robotic arm over the course of 12 days and 21 hours, capturing the telescope and maneuvering the crew members throughout 5 spacewalks to lengthen the telescope's life.
And mission specialist Aki Hoshide is embarking on his 3rd space flight today. The JAXA astronaut from Tokyo previously flew on STS-124 aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery to deliver and install Japan's science laboratory Kibo. He also flew aboard the Russian Soyuz on expeditions 32 and 33 for a 124-day visit to the space station.
And in the far corner of your screen is mission specialist Thomas Pesquet. He will be making his 2nd trip to space. Born in Rouen, France, Pesquet first flew to space on the Russian Soyuz as a flight engineer for expeditions 50 and 51. In that time, he worked on more than 50 different experiments and performed 2 spacewalks with Kimbrough to maintain the space station. He has logged 197 days in space. Pesquet will be the first European to fly in Crew Dragon, and it will be the first time a European astronaut has launched from America in more than a decade.
Yeah.
Each of these 4 crew members will
That's
join
right, I
Expedition
guess.
65 once they arrive at the International Space Station, with Aki Hoshide taking over as commander of the station right before Crew 1 departs.
And as we're looking at a live view of the pad, again,
Oh, look at
fueling
the-
is underway. We heard a call out
Look at the
during those
plumes.
bio recaps that
Or the vents.
RP1 load is complete
The
on the
venting
2nd
of-
stage.
Huh.
And we have a really special treat if we could take a view of Bob Behnken's spacesuit. We have that in studio. That is the actual spacesuit worn by Bob Behnken during the Demo 2 test flight, and you can see the photo of his wife, Megan MacArthur, in the photo there, and she is sitting in the same spacecraft in the same seat that Bob did almost a year ago on the Demo 2 mission. Megan is the pilot for this mission. There's a shot of Bob's spacesuit on the left and Doug Hurley's spacesuit on the right. This was a couple days ago during the pre-launch news conference.
Yeah.
So again, looking live at the pad, Falcon 9 will have 1.7 million pounds of thrust at liftoff, and We've heard it sounds like a gorilla sitting on your chest. Would you say that's accurate, Tracy?
Yeah. I've never had actually a gorilla on my chest, but I imagine that one would be that heavy. That the feeling that you have in your chest is pretty significant.
Once again, the white cloud that we see there is expected, totally normal. That's just the liquid oxygen vaporizing essentially as it comes into contact with this humid Florida air. As a point of reference, this liquid oxygen
it's
that we
going to be a
load
great
on board Falcon
launch.
9
Actually,
is,
17.
super chilled to help densify that liquid
I
oxygen.
have no
When
idea
I say
how to
super
use
chilled, I
time.
mean really, really
joke,
cold.
obviously.
We're talking like negative
Not too.
336
All right.
degrees. So, of course, whenever it comes into
All right,
ambient air,
16:30.
it will turn into its gaseous state, which
yeah.
is
Load has started.
Locks
okay.
load.
And there we just heard the call out that
Yes.
second stage LOX load has just begun.
And
for
so
the second
mission
stage.
teams that we've seen in control rooms from Kennedy Space Center to Houston to Hawthorne are all laser focused on keeping this crew safe from this point and all the way to the space station and back home in 6 months. We had a chance to ask about their mindset right now from a couple of their leaders.
There's a very delicate dance between the weather, normally the weather and the operations, and making sure all these complex systems are working correctly together. And what is really
Meatball.
important is just how
In the background.
calmly, quietly, efficiently the team's working through every single one of those things. It's why we train.
People are very passionate about this program, as am I, and they know the consequences of what they're doing. They know that the crew's lives depend on what they're doing. This human spaceflight endeavor requires diligence every day on the job, and I think our team knows that.
I definitely feel like those crew members are in our hands, and we need to be there thinking straight, making sure we're making the right decisions so that we're getting that crew safely to the International Space Station.
And that was Kathy Leaders and Steve Stitch, who have been in charge of the NASA team for much of the life of the commercial crew.
Remember
program.
that one
Worked
Blue Origin
very
launch that,
closely, with
or
folks
the
on
last
SpaceX
Blue
side
Origin
who
launch that
have gotten
took,
to know these
they had like a
astronauts
20-minute
on a
hold at
personal
10
level
minutes.
and have taken such care in all of the checkouts and the paranoia reviews, as they're called, to make sure that they're constantly looking for problems to uncover.
And that was planned?
That, every leaf, every stone is in
I
turn
don't
to
know.
make this flight as safe as possible for the crew. Again, it is now T-minus 14 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. Liftoff will be about 1 hour before sunrise here on Florida's Space Coast, and if we're lucky, we may see a beautiful contrail at first light. At the time of launch at 5:49 and 2 seconds Eastern Time, the space station will be
Yeah, I was
flying
hoping to
258
see
miles
some
over
kind
the Indian
of
Ocean
thing of the
south Sri
Twilight
Lanka.
effect. You
And
know,
now with
the blue
T-minus
plume
13 minutes, 50
when you
seconds
look
and
far
counting,
away.
we want to focus
Yeah,
on the pad as we
it
proceed
actually
through the
looks
final
cool.
stretch
I
of the
can't
countdown. We will turn it over to Hawthorne to take us through launch at 5:49 this morning. John?
We're inside T-minus 14 minutes. Everything is still looking good for launch of Falcon 9 and Dragon, 49 minutes and 2 seconds after the hour.
Stuff is happening.
Falcon 9 began propellant load at T-minus 35 minutes. Loading of the RP-1 fuel onto stage 2 is complete. Fuel loading is continuing on the first stage. We're over half full, and it'll finish at T-minus 6 minutes. The densified liquid oxygen loading is continuing on the first stage. And we began loading liquid oxygen onto the second stage a few minutes ago. The liquid oxygen loading will wrap up T-minus 3 minutes on the first stage, about T-minus 2 minutes on the second stage. Checkouts of the thrust vector controllers, what we call TVC wiggles, are coming up, along with throttle valve checkouts on the engines. That's where we move the engines a little bit, make sure the hydraulics are ready to go. Currently the range is go, ready to support, working no issues. And we continue to have good weather.
I've been watching this since T-minus 3 hours.
Ground level, at the upper altitude winds, and downrange at the contingency landing sites.
Yeah.
On the Dragon spacecraft, the Dragon mission director and team, they're reporting no issues. Their communication checkouts are complete. The crew access arm is retracted, as you see on your monitors, away from the vehicle. The launch escape system is armed. The crew is strapped in and ready to go. Final instructions to the crew will be coming at T-minus 10 minutes. They'll configure their displays for launch. That'll give them insight into how the launch is proceeding, and it provides constant updates on vehicle health. And for Dragon at T-minus 5 minutes, we'll hear it enter terminal count as they transition to internal power. Now we're going to hear continued call-outs on the countdown net as we get close to T-minus 0 and to the liftoff.
They don't have the regular SpaceX.
Now, Gary, we talked about the ascent sequence of events that are coming up here. You and Jesse went through that a little while ago. But we're also going to have abort modes. Can you explain a little bit about what the abort mode callouts are that we might hear?
That's right, John. We're continuing to track that the Falcon 9 and Dragon are looking good for launch, but just in case anything were to happen, Dragon is fully prepared to initiate an abort and use those Super Draco engines to escape from a speeding Falcon 9. On the way uphill, you'll hear a series of letter and number combinations. Those will denote the stage that the rocket is on and the abort zone that we're on as well. On first stage, you'll hear abort zones A and B. That will cover the Falcon 9's ascent up to about the northern border of North Carolina, about 7.5 to 8 miles in altitude. And the stage 2 will have stage 2A through E. Mostly it will be stage A, or stage 2A abort zone, but towards the end of the 6 minutes that stage 2 will be firing, you'll hear the numbers start going out from B to E, with E being an abort to orbit. All of these capabilities enabled on the Dragon spacecraft to make sure that the crew will be delivered safely into orbit. Inside 10 minutes and 30 seconds, we should be hearing some final status, maybe a good luck and Godspeed from some of the ground teams here, ensuring that the crew is ready to go.
10
Falcon 9,
minutes
Dragon,
into
and all the
launch.
support teams are ready for launch.
9 minutes, 10.
Dragon, SpaceX, confirmed crew displays are
Chatted
configured
yet.
for launch.
Displays are configured for launch.
Display is configured for launch, I guess.
Shane, Megan, Aki, Tama.
Hold
We're
on,
thrilled
guys,
to have
hold
the crew
on.
on board Endeavour once
Hold
again,
on.
and truly honored to have you all at the helm. It's been a pleasure training alongside you ahead of this historic launch. We wish you a great mission, good luck, and enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Chad, Christian, Frank, and all the teams who got our crew and vehicle ready for this mission. We want to say a special thank you to our families and friends.
Okay, back,
Grateful
sorry.
for your support
All
and
right.
sacrifice during our training and our upcoming flight. Our crew is flying astronauts from
9
NASA,
minutes
ESA,
until
and
launch.
JAXA, which hasn't happened in over 20 years. We're excited to represent our nations,
The time
agencies,
is
and all of
5:40.
humanity. Off the Earth,
I've been
for the
waiting
Earth, Endeavour is
for a
ready
few
to
days
go.
now. One night, yesterday, I had
some celebratory handshakes from inside the Crew Dragon. That was the voice
was
of
it?
the Corps.
I had,
Chad Healy
figured
here
out that
in,
it was
Mission
delayed to
Control
now.
Hawthorne. Next series of events, John, will be the engine chill. Everything's looking
At least
good so
this,
far.
at least this
Yeah, it
try,
is.
if
We're
it
actually
doesn't get
watching,
scrubbed,
the, fuel
at
trim
least this
valve
try
on
got
Merlin
farther
1D
than
engines
up
going through
this
some checkouts right now. And
Yeah.
as you said, at T-minus 7 minutes, we're going to start
It happens,
a
it
sequence of
happens. You
events
scrub
that
things
begins
and
with
stuff
opening
happens.
the pre-valves. Currently, the liquid oxygen, the kerosene fuel on the Falcon 9 first, second stages is separated from the Merlin engines. T-minus 7 minutes, just over a minute from now, we open the pre-valves. That allows propellant down to the top of the engine, or the inlet to the turbo pumps. At the same time, we open up bleed valves on the turbo pumps, and that allows a little bit of that densified ultra-cold liquid oxygen to flow through the pump and to chill down the liquid oxygen pump. That way, when we get to T-minus 2 seconds and we spin the pumps up and everything comes to full power, we're not pulling very cold liquid oxygen through a warm pump. So as that cools it down right now, that'll get it ready for that ignition sequence in the last couple of seconds. So We should hear that call out that the stage 1 engine chill has started.
7.5
You'll also hear
minutes
in flight,
until launch.
about a minute and a half, 2 minutes
You can
into
see
flight, MVAC chill
3
has
of the crew
begun.
members here. The
That's
4th
also
one
a
off
repeat
screen.
sequence there,
We got Falcon 9. The crew arm
one more
retracted.
time before it lights after stage separation.
You can see venting. And yeah.
Right now we're waiting to see the pre-valves come open and the chill begin.
Stage 1 engine chill has started.
Engine chill.
Yep, and there's the call out. We've got indication pre-valves coming open on the engines. And we have begun to chill in the Merlin engines for flight.
That's right, John. Now inside 6 minutes, 40
Yeah.
seconds.
Alright, so hold on.
Kerosene is completely filled in the second stage. We're anticipating about 30 more seconds for the first stage to be completely filled with that RP1 refined kerosene. The liquid oxygen will continue to flow through the first and second stages up to the final minutes before T0.
RP load is complete.
All right, confirmation. We have 100% fill of RP1 on both the first and second stages. 6 minutes to go until an instantaneous launch window today. The next milestone will be Dragon to transition to configure for terminal count. And this time, terminal
sorry
count,
about that.
the Dragon will be on internal power, no longer relying on the lines from the
5
ground.
minutes until launch. There has been no holds,
From there, the
which is a
Falcon 9
good thing.
propellant tanks will pressurize for
Let me
strong
check
back
Discord
retract.
and who
That'll be another
wants to
visual
do
milestone.
stuff.
The clamps just
Stuff is happening.
below the Dragon's unpressurized trunk will open, and the strong back will tilt back just 2
Endeavor
degrees.
is ready to go. Let's
Then
go.
right after liftoff, back to 45 degrees. Again, RP1 kerosene, both on the first and second stages. Liquid oxygen continues to flow through on the first and second stages. That very densified, very cold liquid oxygen.
Dragon has transitioned to configure for terminal count. Falcon 9 propellant tanks are pressurizing for strong back retract.
All right, John, good calls and right on time. Dragon is now on internal power.
Okay, next major event coming up is
Sorry
going to
about
be
that.
opening the
Yeah.
clamp arms around the second stage in preparation for retracting the strong back away from the vehicle to get ready for liftoff.
Strong back is retracting.
We heard the call out, strong back is beginning to retract. We're into the automated sequence. We should see the clamp arms that are just visible there around the top of the second stage begin to open up. Once they are open, then the strong back will begin to move away from the Falcon 9.
Alright, yep, there's the arms. And then strong back should retract.
Watching the sequence, a nice view from up on
Right?
top of the fixed service structure.
Right?
The arms are
No?
opening. And we're
something
beginning
wrong?
to recline away from the Falcon 9.
Hopefully not.
We'll move the strong back 2 degrees away from the Falcon 9. That'll get it ready for
there it
liftoff. And at
There it
T0, when the flight computer commands liftoff, the hydraulics on the strong back will pull it to a position 45 degrees away from the Falcon 9, giving it the clearance for launch. So right now, the strong back is moving away. Everything proceeding nominally.
4 hours ago. 4 hours
John,
ago.
we're also anxiously awaiting
Spacex.
the liquid oxygen complete on the first stage. Should hear that call very shortly.
3 minutes. Oh, 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power.
Internal power. Let's go.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
Fuel is loaded.
Okay, we've heard the call out. Stage 1 LOX load is complete. We're loading liquid oxygen on the second stage for about another 30 seconds or so. Once we get the liquid oxygen load complete on the second stage, the propellant line that runs up the side of the strongback that carries liquid oxygen, we'll vent that line down to make sure there's no liquid in it when we get to liftoff. When we do that, we open up valves on the strongback, and as Kate and Marie were talking earlier, when we vent off that very cold gaseous oxygen, it'll merge with the warm, humid Florida air, and you'll get a large white plume of condensation off of the back of the strongback. That'll be normal, coming about a minute and a half before launch. Everything continuing to look good.
Stage 2 lock load is complete. Dragon is in auto idle.
All right, with that, the Falcon 9 is fully fueled. We have fuel on both the first and second stages, and both stages are filled with liquid oxygen.
Gas closeout has started. Expect loud venting.
Dragon is also in auto idle. The flight computers on Dragon, maintaining their calculations, standing by, waiting for the T0
Wait. If Starship vents, does that mean the air in Boca Chica is humid or
the 1 minute mark, Dragon will transition to countdown, and the flight
is it
termination
humid?
system will arm. The computers
I have
on Falcon
no
9
idea.
will be talking to the computers on Dragon and can issue an abort if necessary.
Here are from,
FTS is armed. Falcon 9 is in startup and is now controlling. Dragon is in countdown.
I don't know.
All right, 50 seconds to go. Everything is ready for an on-time launch today.
Less than a minute.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Copy, go for launch.
Whew.
Ground teams are ready, and the crew inside Dragon is ready.
30 seconds?
30 seconds to go until launch.
Seconds. Put this down.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Yep. I called it. Whew.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Mission. And liftoff. Godspeed, Endeavour, and Crew 2.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again. 4 astronauts from 3 countries on Crew 2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. The vehicle is pitching downrange. 9 Merlin engines on the first stage, providing 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Hearing good calls on first stage performance so far.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. It's like the sun. It's like the sun's moving. Oh, there's telemetry.
Plus 30 seconds into the second rotational crew mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9. Falcon 9 will be throttling down the 9 Merlin engines shortly here in preparation for maximum dynamic pressure. And there's that call out for the throttle down. Maximum dynamic pressure, max Q, is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees throughout ascent. So throttling down does help us pass. Throttling down helps us pass through this period, which should be coming here shortly.
Isn't scared of lightning. No, hold on. No, I'm
There's a
talking
call out that
on.
we have just passed through max Q.
No.
Stage 1 throttle up.
And
1
we can
Bravo.
No, stop. Out.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
I'm streaming.
All right, 1 Bravo is the second abort mode on the first stage. The first stage continues to fire for 2 minutes, 35 seconds. 1.5 minutes into today's flight.
All right. Sorry about that. About a minute in. Ooh, is that a
Falcon 9 now traveling at more than 1,500 miles an hour.
MVAC engine chill started.
Oh, they chill it before.
All right, the engine chill for the second stage single Merlin engine has started. About 30 more seconds of the first stage firing to bring our 4 astronauts into orbit.
Now from here, coming up in about 20-some seconds, we're going to have 3 major milestones. We'll have shutdown of the 9 Merlin engines. We're beginning to throttle them down. We will then get stage separation.
Throttle down.
and then we will get ignition of the second stage engine to propel Dragon and the Falcon 9 second stage into orbit.
Miko?
2 Alpha.
Stage set.
Copy, 2 Alpha. Confirmed.
There it goes.
Acquisition of signal.
And the signal Yep.
And ignition.
The second stage, it's green. Oh,
And we have ignition of the second stage.
nitrogen
You see the green flash of that T-Temp fluid?
Huh.
The expansion nozzle on the second stage Merlin vacuum glowing that bright red that we like to see. Good performance on the second stage so far.
And on the left side of your screen, we saw the exhaust of the second stage engine streaming past the first stage as the grid fins are coming out. We also briefly had a view of the lights of Central Florida in the background. Currently, the first stage is continuing to coast up to apogee. It's unpowered. It'll reach a peak height and then begin to descend back down toward the Earth's atmosphere, where it will light 3 engines to slow down in preparation for what will be a landing burn on the drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean.
SpaceX,
You can see the grid fins are deployed right now. The first stage pulsing.
and this one.
We're pulsing the thrusters.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
We hear a call out from the crew, nominal trajectory. So we're beginning to move the first stage into position so it can do the entry burn.
What are those little things flying off? Ooh. I guess it could
4
be,
minutes, 15
like,
seconds into
bits
today's
of
flight.
Nitrogen?
Second stage propelling our 4 astronauts up the eastern seaboard. We'll continue to fire. It's a 6-minute burn to deliver the astronauts into orbit. We'll wait for a cue for good orbital insertion after that. Meanwhile, we will be hearing check-ins on the vehicle's trajectory and performance, as well as check-ins with some of the ground stations as it passes over throughout the 6 minutes of the second stage firing.
Oh!
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
What are these? Like these little chunks flying?
Copy, nominal trajectory.
I have no idea. Is there any check on the crew? At all?
Getting good views of both the first and second stage from the onboard cameras.
Acquisition of signal, boss.
Oh, they have 2.
The New Hampshire tracking station has acquired the second stage telemetry signal. Meanwhile, the first stage has reached apogee and it's now beginning to descend from a height. It's currently about 167 kilometers up. And in a few minutes, we will get the entry burn of the second stage, of the first stage.
Entry burn of the second stage. Entry burn of the second stage. Landing a second stage from orbit. With a vacuum engine.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Right on cue, those check-ins on the second stage performance. Once a minute, everything's looking good on that second stage.
Propulsion is nominal.
Stage 2 continues to climb. The vehicle now exceeding 8,000 miles an hour
That's the entry
at an
burn.
altitude of about 124
Is that-
miles.
Yeah, that's the entry burn. Wait, is that?
And just
Was that
about
all
1
the
minute from
engines for a
now,
second there?
we will begin the entry burn of the
That looks
first
like open
stage.
session.
That'll consist of lighting the center engine, and then shortly afterwards, 2 more engines for a 3-engine burn to slow down the first stage in preparation for entering the Earth's atmosphere.
What? What is that? What? What?
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Another check-in, and the crew confirming they're hearing the same thing. The vehicle exceeding, are about to exceed about 10,000 miles per hour.
Meanwhile, first stage down at 90 kilometers, getting ready to relight 3 engines for the entry burn.
Entry burn. Entry burn.
Stage 2 FTS is safed.
We've got the center engine ignition, and there come the 2 side engines. Now this entry burn will last about 29 seconds. It's going to significantly slow down the vehicle in preparation for hitting the denser part of the Earth's atmosphere. Entry burn complete. We're down below 35 kilometers, continuing to look good on the first stage, heading to the Atlantic Ocean for a landing on the drone ship.
While second stage is less than a minute away from cutoff.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
Shannon.
Copy, Shannon.
Shannon called out at the back end of the stage 2, a few seconds until cutoff.
Stage 1 downlink, second engine cutoff, Seco, and Seco.
Invac shutdown.
Oh, the engine is like oscillating almost. Well, it's in orbit. Landing burn?
Dragon SpaceX launch escape system disarmed.
Orbital insertion.
Launch escape system disarmed. Copy.
Dragon
First stage,
SpaceX
okay?
nominal orbit insertion.
Copy. Nominal orbital insertion.
Ooh.
Right, the Falcon 9 second stage has done its job, delivering our 4 crew into orbit.
We hear the applause here in Hawthorne. We're waiting to get a video signal back from the drone ship. Of course, I still love you. And the view from the onboard camera, we saw it just briefly. It looks like first stage on the drone ship.
Yep.
Getting views of the Dragon chart. So the first stage is on the drone ship, successfully landed. And more importantly, second stage is in a nominal orbit with the Dragon spacecraft getting ready for some important events coming up, Gary.
That's right, about 2 more minutes. The Dragon and the second stage of the Falcon 9 will be in a coast phase. It'll take that long until the spacecraft separates from the Falcon 9. Of course, both now in a nominal orbit. It's great to see some of the views of the Earth as it passes by over the North Atlantic Ocean.
Great show, SpaceX. Great show. Whew.
All right, we're getting shots of the crew in orbit. I'm looking for that 0G indicator. Can't seem to see it in this shot, but we have a minute to go until we have spacecraft separation. Dragon traveling at nearly 17,000 miles per hour at an altitude of 124 miles. Again, the 4-person crew of Endeavour is in orbit right now. Less than 30 seconds until we have spacecraft separation.
Less than 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah, less. 20 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9.
10 seconds to spacecraft separation.
6.
We should hear words from the core here in Mission Control Hawthorne once we have successful separation.
Separate. Should separate in a few moments. Oh, it's not orbiting anymore. Because it's not 127.
Dragon separation control.
Oh, you can see a little bit of liquid.
Dragon, SpaceX. I think you wish you a great rest of your trip.
say hi to the crew of Dragon waiting from us and let them know your rocket is home safe. Thanks for flying our first flight-proven, crewed Falcon 9. See you airside, Crew 2.
Thank you very much. We're great. It's glad to be back in space for all of us, and we'll send our regards to Crew 1 when we get there. Thanks.
Where's the zero-G indicator?
Absolutely stunning views from both inside the cabin, seeing the excitement of our 4-person crew inside Endeavour, and watching Endeavour drift away from the camera on the second stage as the Earth passes by on an orbital sunrise.
SpaceX Endeavour week.
And Endeavour, you cut out a little bit there. If the question was if you're go to open visors, you are go to open visors at this time.
Copy and work, thanks.
All right, 13.5 minutes past liftoff. The crew is in orbit, traveling at nearly 17,000 miles an hour.
Well, Gary, I don't know about you, but that was a great countdown. Everything sounded great. Right on time, actually a little ahead of time.
Nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
Got a good orbit out of Falcon 9, and first stage landed on the drone ship. And we're in the sunlight over the Atlantic Ocean with the Dragon spacecraft. All in all, a great day.